Dr. Zafar, thank you so much for joining me. So you're really active in the political scene in Nevada. You've been the chair of Nevada Muslims for Bernie and are working towards Muslim Democratic Club in Nevada. How do you think a Joe Biden victory would impact Muslims in the United States?
I think, Fatman, that Muslim needed somebody but Trump on one side, because naturally Trump's policies were very anti-immigrants, anti-Muslims, the Muslim ban and everything else. But I think it is a great start for the Muslim community that at least Trump will not be in the office. But on the other hand, Muslim community are affected by the issues like any other American is affected by. So certainly, as I have been a Bernie supporter, I have been pushing for the policies that are really good for the people. So I think it is a good start for the Muslim community.
So how will Joe Biden win impact U.S. foreign policy regarding Pakistan and the Southeast?
The way I see it is Trump was a real bad news, especially because of his right-wing policies. And you have seen India shifting further to the right under Modi's government. And it was the nationalist policies, ultra-nationalist and right-wing policies that would have been very dangerous for our region. So I think that will tone down. If Trump would have been elected, that would have exacerbated that. So I think on one side, having Joe Biden there will lessen that tension that was really a threat. Because if you see what Trump was doing, he was taking off America off all the treaties to restrict the arms, and that would have started a new arms race, and that would have been very dangerous for our region. So I'm happy on that side. But coming to Joe Biden, I personally think that I hope and I wish that America starts to respect fair elections in the region, and really respecting the human rights and not push the World Bank and IMF agendas that they have been pushing, basically.
So, as I said before, you've been really involved in the Democratic Party in Nevada. I read somewhere that in 2016, only 14% of Pakistani Americans voted in the general election. So how can Pakistanis be more involved?
I think Pakistanis are getting more involved lately, because if you see right in Nevada, we were very involved in the Bernie's campaign in the primaries, and most of the Muslims were supporting Senator Bernie Sanders. And I think that just tells us that the Muslim community, and if you see America, Pakistanis are almost at every smaller and a big city in America. So the activation of the Muslim community, Pakistani community, are a good part of that, basically, at least in the leadership areas. So I think they are getting involved. Like if you see in Nevada, we set up a Muslim Democratic Caucus. Primarily, it is driven by the Pakistani community, but of course, there are other Muslims also in it. So they are getting involved, I think.
Okay, that's good to hear. Do you think Bernie will be running again in 4 years?
I don't know. But naturally, if you look at the election, Bernie is more than himself, but, a movement. And if you see that the progressive movement is taking hold almost everywhere, if you look at the elections this time, Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, who ran on the progressive platform, and this is the second time that they have been elected. And I think the Zionist lobby was against them and did not want them to be elected. But I think things are changing very rapidly in American, especially the Democratic Party.
If a progressive were to win in the next 4 years, how do you think that would impact Pakistan relations with the U.S. and foreign policy?
I think that will be a very good news for the people of Pakistan, because if you see last 30 years, America has been a bully, you know. He's been bullying almost every country that you can look around, basically, through their money, through their arms, through the, supporting dictators. So I think that needs to end, basically. And if Bernie would have been elected, or the progressive politicians, progressive policies take over, there will be more respect of human rights and genuine development in those regions, rather than, exploiting them and extracting, just like we had a colonial era. I think this is the neo-colonialism that is run through the IMF and the World Bank, and the economic policies that does not benefit the locals, but benefits the, the superpowers, basically.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Zafar.
You're welcome. Thank you.